Hi everyone, today I'm talking about earnings next week, and last week we had a couple of earnings come out, one of our busiest weeks for earnings, and this week again another busy week for earnings, and then it calms down after the week coming up. But on this kind of series that I do when earnings season's happening is I kind of go and tell you about some of the really important earnings that are coming out the week ahead and some key dates for you, and if your stock is reporting earnings on that date. And last week we talked about a lot of stocks reporting earnings. We had Microsoft, which were good earnings. We had stocks like Amazon that reported earnings. A big one for me was iRobot and Tesla. Tesla went absolutely huge up last week after their earnings, and iRobot as well. They went down quite a bit and made a little bit of a buying opportunity, which I'll be talking about a little bit more again on my channel in a little bit. But this week we're going to have a look at some of the earnings that are coming up this week, and I'm also going to tell you about my opinions with them earnings that are coming up as well. So what we'll do now, guys, is we'll get the chart up with all the earnings and the dates that they're reporting their earnings. So Monday has an actual busier open than last week. AT&T will be quite interesting. Spotify, that's always a cool one. Walgreens, which is one of my stocks, that will be reporting earnings on Monday, so I'll be checking them guys out. After the close, we've got Beyond Meat, which is a stock that's really starting to interest me slightly because that was $260 after its IPO, now trading around $100, so that's now on a little bit of a discount. And looking at Beyond Meats, it's actually not too far away from profitability as well, and its revenues are growing at like 100% a year, which is fantastic. So I'm probably going to make a video about them and look into them, but I won't do it until after their earnings, and I'll see what happens from there. Alphabet, always a good one to track what happens. I think they've had a couple of rough earnings recently. And then moving on to Tuesday before the open, Spotify is a stock that I should have really invested into and I never did. MasterCard is reporting its earnings on there. GM's always interesting. It's never normally too good, even though I think the last one wasn't too bad. But GM on the open, after the close on Tuesday. AMD is always one that I check out, and EA, that's always interesting to see how they're doing. EA have had like a rough ride over the last year, so it'll be interesting to see what they do on there. But those are kind of the ones that I'm watching on Tuesday. On the Wednesday, Sony will be pretty cool to check out. Royal Caribbean, or Caribbean, that'll be cool to check out because obviously I own shares in Carnival Corp, so I always see how they are doing. And as well as that, I actually really like Royal Caribbean as a company, and I've always said that I always rate their stock as a buy. And it's been at really tempting prices recently as well. And then on the actual Wednesday, we've got on the close, once again, Wednesday after the close is probably going to be our busiest day again for earnings. Apple will move the market for sure. We've also had Facebook, which is another stock of mine, reporting earnings. Starbucks is always one to check out, and Callaway Golf, I always keep track of them. Lyft will be interesting, see how they do. Etsy, they once again another one to check out, and Western Digital. On Thursday, I'll be checking out ALTRIA because that's the stock I own, so we'll see what happens there. I'm kind of like, not gonna lie, hoping that they might go down. That'll be interesting because I'd like to buy more shares for cheaper. Kraft Heinz, I think that's like, Warren Buffett's one of his biggest stocks, and obviously they've had a really rough time recently as well. Wayfair, probably be checking them guys out as well. The close on the Thursday, Pinterest will be pretty cool. Arista Networks is one that I'm tracking quite a lot recently, and seeing what's happening in that stock. And then on the Friday, we've got Adobe, which is obviously another one of my stocks, so I'll be seeing how that goes on the open. We've got AbbVie reporting earnings as well. They're a stock that I talked about recently on the channel and said that it's not a bad opportunity to go buy them. That was when it was in the $60 range. Personally, I'm not buying them, but I can understand if you bought them, so you'd probably be up if you did invest in AbbVie at the time, which was a good move. But like I say, it was just not a stock that I was comfortable with investing at the time. So as you see, guys, some really big earnings next week. Obviously, last week was a big one. The week before we had the banks, and Netflix was a standout one. Last week, Tesla was a big one. iRobot was a big one. And this week, we've got a few big earnings coming out. Some big companies that will be really interesting to check out. Like I say, Wednesday is the big day once again for earnings, so stick around on Wednesday if you're an investor, because I'm sure you'll have a company reporting on that day if you have quite a few shares in different companies. And like I say, there's quite a few of my companies reporting earnings next week as well, so I'll be checking out how they're doing. Potentially, like last week, if a few of them tend to move the market, Align stock and Tesla stock definitely made big moves last week in my portfolio, and I made a video about them. And if any of my stocks make big moves off of these earnings, I'll make a video about them. It'd be interesting to see. I'm kind of like, I was gonna say it's like probably Alibaba's probably the keen one with a lot of the China trade war and seeing if they can still pull an amazing quarter off. Might be one of the big ones that I'm watching, but hopefully I'm hoping big time that ALTRIA and Facebook pull back. I know as an investor it's weird saying that you hope your stock pulls back on earnings, but Facebook and ALTRIA are two stocks I want to buy more of, and the current prices right now, I'm just a little bit like, I just want it a little bit cheaper for me to go buy them. So I'm kind of actually rooting them for not to do too well in earnings. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And like I say, if there's any big moves, I'll make a video about them, guys. But I hope you enjoyed the video about some key earning dates next week. Hopefully some of your stocks are on that list. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you were checking out some earnings dates, if you could give the video a like, that'd be amazing. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.